Good morning. Welcome to worship at Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Mark Tuning. I serve as music director for this congregation, and I go by he, him, and his pronouns. We always begin our worship in song, so we invite you to join in singing We Give Thanks. The words will be on your screen. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Good morning and welcome to the Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm the Reverend Leslie Takahashi and my pronouns are she and her. We are so glad that you have joined us on this special service today, and we're really glad to have folks of all ages with us for the service that we are about to do. We are very, very happy to have everyone here on this beautiful day. We are a community that are grounded in values from the Jewish and Christian traditions that teach of the power of love, and our faiths that have evolved over centuries because of our belief that more should be invited to the welcome table of those faiths. So we are grateful to have you with us, and though you don't have to believe a creed to be comfortable among us, we do have beliefs that we share, and you can find those on our website and also in our order of service, which is on the website as well. If you are visiting and you want to learn a little bit more about who we are and what we believe, what we do together, please go to our website at www.mduuc.org to learn more and fill out one of our visitor cards, virtual visitor cards that are there on the website so we can be in touch with one another. We have a lot going on here, so while you're on that website, you can check out the virtual calendar, which provides links to many of our virtual programs and information about things that are happening. You can also check out our newsletter, which is also on the website, and register for events there. Thanks to our amazing volunteers, we were able to feed more than 50 people on Thursday and provide food. And so we are so grateful for everybody that cooked and shopped and drove and also ate meals that we provided. It was a wonderful virtual delivery system of a Thanksgiving, and we were very glad to have done that. You can also participate in our virtual gift tree this year, and you can see that information in our Friday email. It will be in our beacon, which you'll be getting next week, or you can contact Reverend Rodney for that information as well. This coming Saturday, we are having a not virtual but actual on campus with distancing and masks craft fair that will support the work of this church and which is hosted by our youth. We have more than a dozen vendors who will be on campus to provide different handcrafted gift ideas, and we hope that you will come by and see us. There is more information on that in all those publications as well. If you missed our forum, and we apologize for the technical problems that some people had last week, it is now recorded. You should have, if you are a member, received a direct link, and it's posted in the member forum. If you want information about it, please contact me, and I'll make sure you get that. Today, we will be having a chance for you to come on campus and walk our labyrinth, bring food for our food barrel, which has gotten very nice and full over the weekend. You can still fill out one of our beautiful gratitude leaves, and we will have to-go packs for our bread and cider communion available from 1 to 3 today. So please do consider making a little field trip out and see the last of our fall leaves. Caring and connection are so important during this time, so please make sure that you be in touch with one of our ministry team if a listening ear would be helpful to you in these times. And we also have financial support for those of you that are struggling. And remember that asking is a gift that you give our community. Do not hesitate to contact us if we can be of help. Welcome to this beloved community.
Good morning. I'm Janice Davis, a member of your Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. We like to begin our service by reading together our church mission, which you see on the screen. Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church is a welcoming religious community. We bring to life our Unitarian Universalist values as we seek truth and work for justice, nurture compassion and courage, reach out to each other and to our larger community of faith, bridge the divisions that wound the human family, and transform ourselves and our world. Our MDUUC community is such a blessing in these challenging times. We continue to follow necessary restrictions of people and groups on campus for everyone's safety. But you are welcome to come by, visit the campus, and leave an encouraging message on the outdoor blackboards for your friends. We are grateful and give thanks for the many people ministers, staff, volunteers, members, and friends who are creating the many new virtual ways to stay connected and who are participating in MDUUC community. These days can be hard, so remember, if you need help or are feeling isolated, please let one of our ministers know. Take needed rest, take care of yourselves, and welcome. It's good to be together.
From our Christian heritage, we have the tradition of lighting an Advent wreath for the 4 Sundays before Christmas. And today, we light the first of our Advent wreath candles. In this tradition, we light these candles to await the coming of a promise that has not yet realized. And we also await the coming of hope, which in this particular year, we all can be deeply respondent to. So this year we light the first of our candles for the coming of hope.
This week we asked our young folks at Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church to share with us what they were feeling grateful for.
I am thankful for having my family. I'm thankful for the 2 kids. I'm thankful for good health. I'm thankful for wonderful weather here in California. And I'm thankful for all the frontline workers who are working super hard right now to save lives. And I'm thankful for all the people who worked on the vaccine.
I thank you for my diary.
My name is Isabel, and I'm grateful for my friends and technology.
I'm thankful for sports. I am thankful for my family. I am thankful for pizza. I'm thankful for my parents and my grandparents because they take care of me for to get food and water, and for my cat Minty so I can play with him during COVID since I can't see my friends.
We are so grateful for the ways that we can keep in touch with each other as a community, sending in pictures of past times that we remember and current joys. The companions that we have. The ways that we can connect together, as we did when we tried a new take on our Thanksgiving feast this year. The community meal was prepared by volunteers, some of whom took a 3.5-hour class in order to keep our food safety protocols in compliance. And we had a safety monitor on campus as well. This allowed us to serve people within our community and in the broader community as well, as many, many other options were not available this year. We are grateful for all who made this happen, for their dedication. We're grateful for this bread and cider communion, and we have our fresh baked bread as usual. A little bit different protocol this year, more gloves, more masks. And we end as we began with our families, in the spirit of gratitude. Come and add your words of gratitude to our campus today.
We invite you to sing the words of our invocation. You'll find them on your screen. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. We're gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. Hallelujah. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days.
My name is Kate Lone Newkirk, and I'm a member of the Degano Band of Mission Indians down in Southern California. And this is Kiona Sage Lone Newkirk. She is a member of the Lakota Nation. As we light this chalice this morning, we acknowledge this land was originally occupied by the Bay Miwok groups, Chupkan and Sakban, who were known to rise up in rebellion against the invaders of the Mission era. This began 150 years of invading forces who decimated the land and its people. The Bay Miwok lost their language, their religion, and most lost their lives during this period as a result of colonialism and white supremacy. Today, there is a scholarly study of the language, and although there is no land reserved for Indigenous peoples in this county, there are hundreds of descendants who have settled here and elsewhere. We acknowledge these descendants of the first peoples of this area as resilient survivors. The Bay Area is home to Indigenous peoples from hundreds of ancestral groups. They share the common history of being on Turtle Island for tens of thousands of years. They were good stewards of this planet, and in this era of wildfires and pandemics, social and political divides, we have much to learn from them.
Good morning. My name is Miranda Lennox, and I use gender-neutral pronouns like they and them. This is a season when we generally focus on naming things we're grateful for. For many of us, however, gratitude has become a tricky thing in 2020. These past months, we've experienced things we may never have imagined living through. Of course, there have been bright moments, but the balance has been decidedly tilted towards the scary and the painful lately for so many of us. If you've ever taken some kind of workshop on how to support people who are suffering, you've likely heard this number one piece of advice. Don't tell them it's all okay. Don't tell them to look on the bright side. Don't tell them it's all part of the plan. The reason for this is that rather than the comforting sentiment that we intend to convey, the impact is very minimizing. When we're suffering, we need to be allowed to stay with our pain and follow it through to the end. And we need to know that the people closest to us will give us that grace and let us grieve and be willing to be in that discomfort with us. Instead of cheer up, people tend to need to hear, be as sad as you need to be. This is an important part of the healing process because when we're suffering and we just try to cheer up, we can wind up stuffing our real feelings down, where they become entrenched in our emotional landscape and return to break our hearts again and again later on. In a similar vein, it's not uncommon to hear count your blessings or focus on what you're grateful for. Yes, focusing on gratitude is very healthy, but we usually have to do it in our own time, by our own impetus, for it to be effective. So I'm not going to tell you to focus on gratitude this morning, unless that's what you want to do. I'm going to tell you to bring what is true for you deep down in your heart and to know that it's welcome here, whether that's joy or grief, gratitude or anger, comfort or distress, or maybe a combination of all of them. I'm also going to tell you that I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful to be here this morning, and I hope that together we can all give each other the support that we each need to welcome the next good day when it comes. Knowing deep down how we need one another, let us worship together.
We invite you to sing our opening song, We Gather Together. You'll find the words on your screen. We gather together in joyful thanksgiving, acclaiming
Each week we take into the loving heart of this congregation those joys and sorrows that are too great to hold alone. I'm going to ask Tristan to light our first candle today for the joy of seeing Art Ungar and his friends play for us one more time before he leaves for other states. So that was a great joy for us in our service already. I would also ask Tristan to light a candle for Yvonne, Shoemaker Strajek, and Barry, who are deeply grateful for the great care Barry received this past week at John Muir Hospital. He's doing much better now and is home. Pamela Osnes asks that we light a candle of joy for her mother, Myrtle Osnes. Since testing positive for COVID at age 98, she has had no symptoms in the 9 days since the positive test. If today shows no symptoms, she has been cleared to come live with Pamela at the farm for the foreseeable future. We are feeling blessed. Pamela also asks that we light a candle of concern for all the families who are living with the stress that a positive COVID test brings. These past 9 days have been horrible, and it's unimaginable that hundreds of thousands of families are living with the stress that this can bring. Marjorie Wallace says, I would like to light a candle of gratitude and thanks to everyone who planned, organized, cooked, assembled, and delivered the Thanksgiving meal. Special thanks to Darlene Roth, who delivered my gluten-free turkey dinner, with which a few of my additions made a delicious meal for two. Hopefully next year we can potluck at Borton Hall, but the dinner delivery, along with Reverend Leslie and Miranda's virtual blessing, were a wonderful way to connect, which was almost as good as being there in person. Thanks, Marjorie. Miranda Lennox asks that a candle of joy be lit in honor of their father-in-law, Delmar, whose cardiac surgery went very smoothly. He's already up and about and says he feels better than he did before the appointment. The Stewart Lennox family has a lot to be grateful for this year. Leslie is lighting a candle for Beth Snortum, who could use some healing energy. No calls or visits, please, just cards. John Ryder is asking that a candle be lit in honor of his father, who died this week. Our condolences to John and to his mother, Doris. I am also lighting a candle for our beloved member, Nancy Landfield, who had a stroke this week and is now on hospice. Her family is with her and asks that you send cards only, please, as they are gathering as a family in this time. They will read the cards that you send or drop off at Nancy's doorstep to her, which will be important. And I am lighting a candle today for my dear friend and colleague, Hope Johnson, who died yesterday. I invite Tristan to light two final candles. One holds those joys and sorrows that remain unexpressed in words, but which we also take into the loving and embracing heart of this community. And the final candle is for all of our wishes, hopes, dreams, aspirations for this beautiful planet, which is home to all of us and to all the people in their communities, in our struggles and in our triumphs. Thank you.
As we enter into our time of meditation, we invite you to sing our meditation song, Jekele Aldash. We'll be singing in both Hungarian and English. On the third verse, we invite you to sing whichever language you prefer, but try not to sing the same as the people who are with you, if you can. Jekele Aldash. The words will be on your screen. All
We are at that time in our service where we invite one another to connect on a deeper level. It is in this space that we prepare our hearts to think about our community, this community that we have created, and we ask one another what we might do to sustain it. So I invite you right now to travel with me from your homes into this virtual space that reminds us that we are all a part of something much bigger than any one of us alone. Some call this time together focused intent, others meditation, and still others the deep ask of prayer. Great mystery of life, that which is ever unfolding, humanity's ever-present beacon of connection and love. You, who our minds may be able to theorize, but only our hearts can adequately describe. This is a time in our nation when we normally would be gathering in large gatherings with family, both biological and found, to share in a spirit of gratitude. But these times, great spirit of life, are trying, and gratitude is not a feeling I personally tap into without also feeling its companions of anger and sadness. I try to be grateful for my family and their well-being, their safety and wholeness, but I am met by my anger towards a virus too small for me to yell at, and so large that it disrupts my ability to gather with those I love. I pray that I can recognize, sit, and honor my anger, even as I try to adhere to the wise and appropriate social distancing efforts. I try to heap thankfulness onto my plate of life in this season, but I am only met by sadness. My sadness is in the loss of physical connections with those I love. The handshake of a new acquaintance, the deep embrace of a parent. It hurts to not be able to touch without fear of infection and death, as well as not being able to gauge a person's emotional state without seeing their full face. But I pray today that I continue to hold my sadness gently, to feel it thoroughly. Please let this sadness embolden in me the ability to maintain my own mask wearing for the betterment of myself and others. We are praying today together that in this season of thankfulness and family meals, that we may all remember to look at our plates and recognize that they are complex. We have mounds of gratefulness sitting right next to heaps of anger and sadness. May we learn to devour both gratitude and grief in ways that make us whole. We ask ourselves and this collection of hearts to abide with us on this journey, and we seal this request in the name of all that is holy. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
Spend the morning in the kitchen, drinking coffee, waiting for sunrise. An icy rain is falling, but in my kitchen I am warm and dry. to learn the lesson that nothing is better than right now, right here. So thank you for all I've received. Help me to be what I need to be, and for all the times I haven't been there, forgive me, forgive me. This is my Thanksgiving prayer. Life flies by, it's the blink of an eye. So I try to get in its way. I'd like to slow it down for just one day to say thank you for all I've received. Help me to be what I need to be, and for all the times I haven't been there, forgive me, forgive me. This is my Thanksgiving prayer. This is my Thanksgiving prayer.
Good morning. My name is Steve Hirsch, and I have the privilege of serving as president of our church board. I use the pronouns he, him, and his. This past Thursday, many of us celebrated Thanksgiving, an annual tradition when families and close friends gather in demonstration of gratitude. Today, and every Sunday, we gather to worship at MDUUC, where we practice a rite of thankfulness for the gifts of our church. The call for the offering represents the time in our service when we reflect on the many ways this church enriches our lives and lifts our spirits, and calls us to demonstrate our appreciation by sharing our financial gifts. If you are so moved today, or any day, visit the church website and click the Give Now button, where you can see the ways you can make a financial contribution. There is no gift too small. All make a difference and all are valued. I thank you for your support. Please join me in the dedication of our offering. To the work of this community in transforming ourselves and our world, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings.
How many of you ate something this weekend that you only eat once a year? How many of you spent time talking maybe on the phone with people that in other years you might only see once or twice a year? How many of you put up maybe that first holiday decoration yesterday or the day before, or began writing out holiday greetings to loved ones? Those greetings might mean a little bit more this year. Some of these things are the same things we do every year, and for many of us, they were very different this year. This year, here, some things were the same. We made an effort to provide food for people and to let them know that our congregation sets a welcome table, a place where all are welcome. Instead of gathering here as we have for so many years, and we prepared a meal here, and then we put it in recyclable takeout containers, and it was driven by people literally to all the corners of our county. The food was largely the same, though it lacked the creativity of having the recipes of so many talented cooks. Having volunteers was the same. It always takes a lot of volunteers to put this on. We had amazing volunteers this time. As I said before, some of them took that 3.5-hour safety class to ensure that everyone kept healthy this year. In the past years, the kitchen has had swarms of volunteers, like busy bees climbing all over a hive. This year, the volunteers had to work with no more than 2 family pods working at the same time. They made so much food, and it was delicious. So some things were the same, and some things were different. On Thanksgiving morning, I was here before sunrise to get turkeys in the oven, and yesterday, I was here breaking bread for our communion today. I had to wear gloves and a mask the whole time, and let me tell you that kneading bread dough with gloves is a really unusual experience. It involves a lot of stickiness and things binding together that you wish would not. But it's different, and still some things are the same. We have gluten-free and non-gluten-free options, as we usually do, and that's the same. Usually, we offer bread in baskets, as you'll see in a few minutes. It's so good to see some scenes from our gatherings in years past today. And we have cider in goblets. Now, we eat it during the service. Now, this year, we have a few changes. You will notice that here in our cup that we usually use to dip our bread in, we have, in fact, a juice box, because that's what we're providing this year. We have some drive-by kits in which you will find some bread, and we'll be inviting you to come by to get some between 1 and 3 today after our regular coffee hour. That's a little different, but if you haven't been out and had an outing for a couple days, come drive by. We have, believe me, a lot of bread, and that is the same. The same and different. This year it's all about that. So one of the things that is the same is that this is the service every year where we celebrate our bread and cider communion. We do that each year on this Sunday. Why do we do that? Some of you might ask. Though we are not a congregation that practices this ritual every week, we do it once a year to remind us of the connection we have to all who went before and all who have sacrificed so deeply for our faith. In this week in which I have lost yet another beloved colleague who gave much for our faith, this is very immediate in this year for me. So each year we do this and we remember those who believe that we can both think and have faith, and who have done this to follow the teachings of a wise teacher, Jesus. He was a person who thought out of the box and who used the Cider meal of his Jewish people to teach an important message to his followers. He said, "Do this in remembrance of me." And communion tables across many faiths say this, including the ones that our Transylvanian ancestors use and used, even though practicing their faith for many generations was life-endangering under communist rule. So as we look at these images of this ritual among us over the years, today, we celebrate that we have this continued line of inheritance. The teacher Jesus knew that a time was coming when the people who he had gathered as his community would not be able to be together. A time when people would not be able to be physically with him. And as you watch these images of what it has meant to be together for some of our last bread and cider communions here, maybe it's a little easier for us this year to know what that would mean to his community. Jesus knew that his teachings, especially the ones that even the poor, even the despised were worthy of God's love, were messages that would eventually cost him his life. And he wanted his community to know that even when they cannot gather with him physically, they could be together in spirit of those teachings, that everyone deserves to be at the welcome table. Those teachings, the same and different. Today, sometime, I hope you will take a moment. We hope you will, some of you, come by and get one of our to-go communion kits and walk the labyrinth, or bring some food, but do a gratitude leave. Or perhaps you'll just take a moment with a piece of something that you have around, or the sourdough or gluten-free muffins baked for you. Maybe just a cracker you have around the house. And take a moment to celebrate the connections of community. Those who study such things say that Jesus' disciples broke bread together in the depth of their grief and fear, asserting that the forces of empire, violence, and evil would not extinguish the forces of life and love. This year, we can also join in those hopes and in our affirmations that we will do everything in our power to make that true. We can break bread in this time of unspeakable loss and do so as an act of resolution that we will not forget that we are one body and one spirit, though we may be gathered in many locations this morning. This remains the same, even when the settings, each of you in your own homes, are different. Over the years, many of us have come to question the validity of celebrating a Thanksgiving which commemorates a narrative with little basis in fact. And we also have come to question, many of us, why we preserve an observation of a tradition and ritual centuries old, tied to doctrines often that are not ours. And yet in each, we are recalled to the sustaining nature of community. And as we watch these images from years gone by and dream of images of years to come, perhaps you feel that. As you see the faces of those that you long to be with, remember that you are not alone. And as we do so, may we remember that which does not change, that at our table, all are welcome, and that we too remain ever faithful to the vision of a world more just and more fair, where the evil of ignorance and the brutality of irresponsible power and the violence of hate will not continue to threaten lives and well-being. In that spirit, can we not eat a bite of bread or take a sip of juice to remember and resolve? For that is a small good thing, different and blessedly the same. And this year may we do so with the resolve that we will be together again, we will gather again, and that we will do in the meantime what we need to, bear what we must through this holiday season and beyond, so that we can be together again within these walls. Though being apart this year is different, being together in spirit is the same, abiding, unchanged. Please do consider coming by today. If not, just take a moment and connect to what is really a century-old quest for the betterment of our human community. This is the community body, the ways we come together as we can in service of something larger than ourselves, a vision of an ever-evolving, ever-changing, better way of being together. And this is the lifeblood of commitment that stays faithful even when we have to work to remain committed, even when it takes effort, even when sometimes it feels like a sacrifice. In these difficult and challenging times, may we remember what is different also masks what is the same. And may we remain committed and relentless in our commitment to our goals that all may sit at the welcome table, and that we will be continuing to gather as community as we can towards that goal of one day doing it within these walls. May we be the ones to make it so.
We invite you to join in singing our closing song, For the Beauty of the Earth. The words will be on your screen.
We all
we extinguish our chalice today with these words from Katie Gelfond. This chalice is a symbol of the abundance of our lives together. May we carry its light out into the world. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. So we will be extinguishing our chalice, and we will also be having our virtual coffee hour 15 minutes after we finish our service. And then we will be here from 1 to 3, some of us, to welcome you and say hello and to offer some chances to connect. So thank you, and whatever your plans are for this week and whatever is in your life, may we carry this light from this sanctuary into all the places that we may go, so that it will bring the promise of commitment, community, and a true spirit of generosity. May we do so in peace.
Thank you.